Are you looking for a Linux job? Well, if you are, you might want to consider creating a portfolio, which can definitely help your chances when it comes to getting that job. But have you considered GitHub as a portfolio? Well, if not, you definitely should. And in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to take a look at. Hello and welcome back to Learn Linux TV. In today's video, we're going to talk about portfolios. Having a portfolio is definitely something that can help you out when it comes to getting a Linux job, or pretty much any job for that matter. But what I want to talk to you guys about is the importance of having a GitHub account. Now, I'm sure most of you that are watching this video, you've already heard of GitHub, but in case you haven't, GitHub is a very popular online resource for Git repositories, basically version control, and you could check out all kinds of really cool open source projects on GitHub. It's a very valuable asset when it comes to learning. But did you think of GitHub as a possible portfolio for landing that job? Well, it's true. Now, first and foremost, you might be thinking, I'm not a software engineer, if you're not one, and I don't want to become a software engineer just to set up a portfolio. I mean, it's very common to think of GitHub as a software engineering resource, and it actually is that, but that's not the only thing that you can use it for. In fact, you can even put your notes up on GitHub as well, and even if you do only that, that could have a lot of value. Now, on my end, I actually have quite a bit of experience when it comes to being involved in the hiring process for various companies that I've worked with. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand some of the things that you could use GitHub for that might impress a potential employer. Now, there's one side benefit that I want to get out of the way when it comes to GitHub that's actually not related to this video, but it's important to keep in mind. GitHub and Git in general is definitely something that you'll want to learn. In fact, I have a video on this channel already that gives you all the basics of Git, so if you want to learn that, then I recommend you check out that video. Even if you're not a software engineer, it's very important to get started with the concept of Git and version control, because even DevOps administrators, they actually put things in Git as well as many other people. And even if you don't do any of that, it's a great place to host your notes. So if you need to remember what command that you've used to do a particular thing, then you might have that in your GitHub account. It makes it easy to access. And by learning how to use Git, and by association GitHub, you're actually learning a valuable skill that you will absolutely use as a Linux administrator, a DevOps engineer, and many other job titles as well. Even if you're just an enthusiast, it's still a good idea to learn Git. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, let's get back to the topic at hand and talk about a portfolio in GitHub. During the process of interviewing a potential employee, I always found it particularly impressive when that potential employee actually sent me their GitHub account for me to look around in. And as a hiring manager, a GitHub account actually tells me quite a bit about the person that's applying for the job. Now, I don't want you guys to think that by opening a GitHub account and putting all of your stuff in there, that you're potentially opening yourself up to, maybe tedious constructive criticism, or maybe having it backfire on you if your code quality isn't as good as another candidate. I mean, there are hiring managers out there like that, but for me, it was never about that, because I understand that everybody makes mistakes. And if you never make mistakes, then something's a little weird with that, because, that must mean to me as a manager that you're not admitting your mistakes, because everybody makes them. So I'm not going on people's GitHub accounts to look for errors, typos, code quality, or anything like that. Although if somebody does have great code quality, that does impress me, but it's not required, and I never saw that as a means of disqualifying anyone, so I don't want anyone to think that that's the case at all. Now, I'm willing to bet, though, that there are hiring managers out there that would disqualify a potential candidate if they saw errors in their GitHub account, and I don't really agree with that. If you're going through the process of interviewing for a job, and the company is going through your GitHub account with excruciating detail and criticizing you for the things that you put in there, and you don't get the job because of something you put in there, well, that's a great thing. And I know you might be surprised to hear me say that. It's a great thing if I don't get the job and this whole thing backfires. Well, yeah, because you probably don't want to work for a company like that anyway. Now, on my end, and I could probably say the same thing about any other employer out there that's worth working for, if I see mistakes in a GitHub account, that's not really something that I'm concerned with at all, because everybody makes mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes, then you're probably hiding something, because, well, every human being makes mistakes. So I'm not going to disqualify someone for something that I see in the GitHub account. But the only exception to that might be if you host a plain text password in your public repository. That's a big red flag. All in all, just be very careful what you upload into GitHub. Don't include anything like passwords in plain text, API keys, things like that, because if I saw you doing that, then I might be very, very concerned. But as long as you're not doing that, then you shouldn't be overly concerned with the quality that you actually upload into GitHub. I mean, sure, you should absolutely try your best. But one of the things that I will notice when I look at your GitHub account is that the quality of your code actually improves over time. Perfect code is pretty much impossible, so you'll never achieve that. But if I see a steady improvement, then that tells me you are learning, you're growing, and you're passionate. And if you're contributing to other projects, then I actually see that as passion as well, because that's really cool. That means you're a team player, you're actually getting along with others, you're contributing to something, and that's really, really great. Okay, so how do you get started with Git? If you haven't ever used it before, then I do have a tutorial on my channel already. You could check that out if you want to learn how to use Git. But some of the things that you can put in Git include notes. For example, let's just say you're going through the various tutorials on this channel and you're learning and you're taking notes. Why not upload those notes to a GitHub account? I mean, you're already writing notes, and the thing is, other people could benefit from those notes. If you have a very special command that you like to use to get something done, then maybe someone else could benefit from that as well. And if you host it in your GitHub account, then other people will be able to access it if you've made the repository public. Now, again, just be very careful that your notes won't include anything like, passwords, like I mentioned. We definitely don't want that. But anything else is fair game. So if you're learning how to, learn the DNF command like I've gone over in a recent Linux Essentials episode, then you might write your notes and then upload the text file containing your notes up to GitHub. And maybe someone else will actually see that benefit from that. But not only that, maybe somebody else could actually submit a pull request and improve your notes. And then you get something from someone else contributed to your project, which is just great. And then if nothing else, that'll get you started with contributing and working with others, even if it's your own repository. I've actually received pull requests for the repositories that I've put up there on the Learn Linux TV GitHub account. Whenever I do a video and I point to that account, and people have submitted pull requests to help improve my code, which is really cool. And maybe the same thing might happen to you. As you grow, then you might learn Bash scripting or maybe Python or something like that. And as you learn, you could put up code examples into your GitHub account, so that way other people can benefit from that as well. And then any other projects that you work on, that might be fair game. If you want to start a custom project, make an app or something like that, you could do that, but you don't have to. If that's something that you wanted to do anyway, that's great. But you don't have to be a software engineer if you're not one, just to use GitHub. GitHub is actually very valuable for many things. And also that includes configuration on your Linux servers as well, because you might want that under version control. And these are all things as a potential hiring manager that I'll look at, because a GitHub account, like I mentioned, tells me a lot about the individual that's applying for the job. Now, another thing, though, is that GitHub doesn't have to be your only portfolio. I mean, you're probably not going to upload your degree, like a copy of your degree, up to GitHub. I mean, that'd be weird. You could do that, but there's probably no need to do that. So you might have a, hard copy portfolio that you might hand the potential employer. And inside that portfolio might be a URL to your GitHub account for them to check that out as well. So that way you can include your certifications, your degree, if you have any of those things, anything else that you think is, relevant in a hard copy form, and then pair that with your GitHub account, maybe even some printouts from your GitHub account. And that looks really, really good in a portfolio. And if I was your potential hiring manager, your potential employer, that would actually be really cool, and I would enjoy looking through that. So anyway, this is a very simple video, I know, right? I'm just going over one thing, which is GitHub as a portfolio or as a value add to your portfolio, but you'd be surprised how effective this actually is. So what I recommend each and every single one of you do, if you don't already have a job, and why else would you be watching this video? I mean, you're probably looking into career improvement, at least if you're watching this video. Definitely start a GitHub account and get in the practice of that, and you won't regret it. And as you go through the videos on this channel, if you're already writing notes, then it becomes a fairly easy process once you get the hang of actually uploading something to GitHub. And then once that process becomes, second nature to you, then you could keep that updated, and you'll only benefit by having a GitHub account, not just when it comes to looking for a job, but like I mentioned, for storing notes, configuration, working with other people, being a part of the community. GitHub is awesome. So what did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments down below, because what I'm trying to find out is if this is something that I should keep doing. I have a total of 3 videos planned in this series right now, so it may not actually be a series beyond 3. And I'm going to film each of these videos and upload them. I'll look at the analytics and how many people like the video. And if a lot of people like this video, then I'll consider doing more, and it might even become a regular thing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop me some comments down below. I'd really appreciate that. And also subscribe if you haven't already done so. I have a lot of videos in production right now. I can't say a whole lot yet, but if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them as soon as I have them uploaded. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon.